Roll Call 219 here. We have an unboxing. It's just a Sig 365 that I've had in layaway forever. So in the box, you get all the normal stuff, your swag and your manual. You get 2 magazines, a flush fit, and then a pinky extension. My born on date is the 19th of March of this year. So this is a newer production gun, which is good because I don't want any of the old ones, because all the old ones had all the problems. Now, disclaimer for this video, I have shot 50 rounds out of this gun. No malfunctions. So I'm happy with it. I didn't lube the gun up. I didn't put any kind of goo in it. Took it out of the box. Paul from Second Amendment Arms and Range, where I purchased the firearm from, gave me 50 rounds. Put them through there. Told him my experience with the gun. Showed him the primer drag. I'm not immune to it, as a lot of people have talked about the primer drag. Now, if you can see on these 2 rounds that I kept for myself, you can see the primer drag on it. One's a little bit more gritty than the other one. So again, I'm not immune to this, but a lot of people say that's normal, yada yada yada. But that's what these Micro 9s are doing nowadays. I watched a video on the Hellcat. Everybody's flipping out about the Hellcat. It's basically a 365, a little bit bigger, carries 1 more round, whoop-de-doo. But that one had primer drag as well. So these little Micro 9s are, they're prone to having this primer drag. A lot of people say their other guns do primer drags as well. If you go look on my Instagram when I showed these 2 rounds that I shot, a lot of people said their guns do it, and they're not Sig brand guns. I look at it this way. I never really paid a lot of attention to my compacts or my full size if they had primer drags, even my little 380s. I have looked at them when the Sig first came out to see if just either my Taurus, my PT-111G2 did it, even my Glock 19, and they never have primer drag on it. So some guns are, prone to this feature of primer drag, and if you look at it, it's a little worrisome when the primer is almost hitting the case. So maybe that's how firing pins might be breaking. I don't know. I'm not a big technician like Military Arms Channel is, or some of the other people that are around the internet, but it is happening in my gun just off of 50 rounds. I'm hoping this gun's going to survive 1,000 rounds that I'm going to put through it, and I have numerous different grainage of bullets I'm going to shoot through here. 115, 124, and then some HSTs. So there's a lot of bullets that I'm going to be putting through this gun to see if it'll malfunction. Now, the only reason why I bought this gun is because it's small. Everybody's freaking out about open carry or just guns in general, and this one is very concealable. I will give Sig that little props. It's concealable. It carries a decent capacity, 10 with 1 in the hole. You can carry it in your pocket. You can even carry it on your side. So there's a lot of options for this gun. Some of the features of it are, the grip texturing is good. It's aggressive, but it's not overly aggressive. I'm somebody that I can deal with either or. You have the checkering here in the front and in the back. I wish they just would have put it around the whole grip, or something of that nature, because you can feel it under here, where when I shot the gun, my finger here would ride up underneath there. I wish they would have cut out a little bit of a space on the trigger guard. Maybe as long as the gun is functional and it doesn't malfunction on me, I could probably just maybe Dremel a little space out underneath that trigger guard if the gun is reliable and I can keep it. It's got front cocking serrations if you want to press check. It's got rear serrations, not that aggressive. Good enough where you can get a hold of it, but I don't know about if your hands are wet or they're sweaty, things of that nature. 3-dot sight system, night sights, decent. When I shot in a low level condition, and my rear sights didn't show up as good as I thought they would. not like my CZ P10C, but they were manageable. You have your takedown lever, slide lock, slide release, whatever you want to call that. I believe you can probably switch your mag release to the other side. There's probably videos on that. It is not ambidextrous, so you don't have any of your controls here. On the other side, it's probably just a swap for your mag release. All in all, you do have your rail system there. From what I gathered from the internet, that's only pretty much for SIG lights. I'm not somebody that carries lights on their gun. A lot of people have told me I should. I just don't. For just the way I carry my gun, I just don't carry it with a light on it. It does have a little shelf here. You can see on the night sights that you could probably maybe rack the slide off your clothes if need be. Got a little hole here for probably indicator for brass. I'm not sold on these little micro 9s. I really am not. Just with all the problems that they've had, I see, all the malfunctions everybody had. That's a problem. You want your gun to be reliable. You don't want it ever to not be in the fight or have to constantly clear malfunctions to stay in the fight. So that's one thing I'm going to have to look at. I got a bunch of 115 grain and 124 grain I'm going to run through here, and even some HSTs. All the videos that I've watched on the 365 since it came out, it's pretty much fed everything except for Max guns. For some reason, he always gets a lemon. Always. I don't know if it's just his bad luck or whatnot. Other people have 1,000 rounds through the gun. They still have the primer drag, but the gun's functioning. It's not breaking. You're not hearing what all the problems when they first came out with to now. So I might be lucky just to have to deal with the primer drag in that instance. Trigger pull on it, I wasn't impressed with the trigger. I'm somebody that's, I've lived in a world with budget guns, all right? And those triggers are horrible. This one, I figured it's better than those guns, but I thought it would be a little bit more of quality. My CZ's trigger is way better than this one. I will say that. So the gun is clear. I'll take the magazine out. Nothing in there. No brass, no nothing. You see in there, blah, blah, blah. So it's got a little bit of take up right there. It starts to hit the wall. There you go. Reset. Very audible. You can hear it. It's almost kind of spongy right there. Kind of feel it doesn't. I think it could have been better. I mean, for what the gun was, supposed to come out with, I think they could have put a better trigger in there. For people with larger hands, it does come with an extension, so you can get that full 3-finger grip. I'm used to 380s and things of that nature where your pinky kind of holds off. So I've trained myself to kind of, compensate for a little bit of slippage of the pinky. So that's fine with me. All in all, what do I think about the gun? For the 50 rounds I've put through it, it's manageable. It is a little jumpy at times. So your follow-up shots, you might want to practice with it. Usually small guns, they're all going to have some kind of recoil impulse to them. They're not like full-size guns or your nasty high points that have a big slide on it, that can handle the recoil. These smaller guns, you're going to really have to practice with them, especially for follow-up shots if you need it. Training is always welcomed for those cases. Time will tell to see if I really adore this gun, or I can just, put it on the back burner and find something else that's going to be a little bit better. Canucks has come out with their gun. You have the Hellcat from Springfield. Again, that gun's showed primer drag on the Hellcat. I wonder if the Canuck has the primer drag issue with that gun being so small. So there's all kinds of little guns that are coming out. I know people had problem with the 365 XL with it not going into battery, a couple little issues here and there. That's the one thing about guns. I don't like to buy them when they first come out. A lot of people are like that. Oh, they got to have the next best thing. Me, I wait. I wait to make sure all the kinks are kind of, you know, sorted out. You know, they're nice, ready to go. That's some of the problems I look at Sig about having is, you know, they use their customer base as you know, the testers, and that's not really, to me, that's not good etiquette. I think they should test these guns before they come out. I think if the Sig 365 was tested more thoroughly and they took care of the problems and then released that gun, it would have got a lot more praise than what it got when it first was released. Same with the XL when it the slides stopped going or wouldn't go into battery and people had to knock the slide forward, things of that nature. I don't think you if you're going to release a product that people are going to depend their lives on, should make them the guinea pigs on doing it. I think you should already work out your kinks, then release the gun. The Hellcat, that's another one we're going to see if this gun will continue to malfunction in some aspects of primer drag, or I've seen one that didn't go into battery. So we'll have to see if these guns that are coming out, the manufacturing company will take the time and due diligence to test these guns before they release them to the public. That way you don't have any kind of problems. Again, time will tell. We'll put 1,000 rounds through this gun. I have already got 50 rounds through it. We'll see how this gun develops and if it becomes a carry piece in my rotation, or it gets traded off and I find something else. I have been looking at a revolver, so watch out, people. If this gun doesn't work out, that'd be the next gun that you're going to see is a revolver. So, again, we'll see what goes on. This 365, for me, the jury's still out. Determination, we'll see when I get done putting a lot of rounds through this gun to make sure it's reliable. I can pretty much control it like I do my other guns and get used to the trigger and train with it and become proficient before I start carrying the gun. With that being said, I'd like to thank my old and my new subscribers, just people that zip through my channel. Greatly appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, share your favorite gun content on whatever platform you use. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, and I do have a Patreon. If you want to become a patron, go over to Patreon, search me up, become a patron. There are some perks there. It helps out the channel. It'll help bring better guns to the channel. It'll help us explore some of these new phenomenons like Micro 9s that have come out, and we can see what they do. We can see if they're worth the buy, if they're worth the wait, or if they're just going to be another struggle in the world of firearms. Again, thank you for watching. Like always, I'll catch you on the next one.